When you stand before a mirror, what do you really see? A reflection of flesh and bone, or a gateway into the deepest chambers of your soul? For thousands of years, mystics, shamans, and philosophers have whispered that the mirror is far more than polished glass. It is a silent oracle, a sacred tool that reveals truths hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. Think about it. Every morning, without question, you gaze into this surface. You adjust your hair, check your eyes, perhaps even judge yourself. But have you ever wondered why this simple act feels so strangely intimate, almost unsettling at times? What if the mirror doesn't just reflect your image, but also reflects your energy, your spirit, even fragments of realities beyond the physical? In this journey, we will peel back the layers of mirror spirituality, tracing its roots from ancient civilizations to occult traditions, uncovering why cultures both revered and feared the mirror, and exploring the deeper spiritual mechanics of self-reflection. By the end, you will not only see mirrors differently, you may never look at yourself in the same way again. And stay with me, because the most shocking and guarded mirror ritual, one that few dare to practice, will be revealed at the very end. From the dawn of civilization, mirrors have held a sacred, almost forbidden place in human culture. Long before glass and silver were crafted into the reflective surfaces we know today, pools of still water served as humanity's first mirrors. Ancient shamans would stare into them, not out of vanity, but as a doorway into the unseen realms. Water, in many traditions, was believed to be the veil between worlds, the surface reflecting the face, but the depths revealing the spirit. In ancient Egypt, mirrors were forged from polished bronze and were often buried with the dead. To the Egyptians, a mirror was not just an object of beauty, but a talisman of protection and passage. They believed it allowed the soul to recognize itself in the afterlife, ensuring that the ka, the vital essence, did not become lost. Some even inscribed magical hieroglyphs on mirrors, sealing them with invocations to protect against spirits that might emerge when the reflection was disturbed. The Greeks and Romans, too, saw mirrors as enchanted instruments. The philosopher Plato hinted that reflections were not mere copies, but shadows of higher truths. Later, in the mystical schools of the Neoplatonists, mirrors were used in divination rituals known as catoptromancy. By gazing into a reflective surface, the seeker was said to glimpse visions of hidden knowledge, futures not yet written, or even their own higher self. In the East, the mirror took on yet another layer of mystery. Taoist sages described it as a symbol of emptiness, clarity, and the untainted mind. In Buddhist texts, the mind is often compared to a mirror, pure, reflective, unstained by the illusions projected upon it. The Japanese revered mirrors so deeply that the Yata no Kagami, an ancient bronze mirror, became one of the three imperial regalia, representing wisdom and truth itself. To look into it was to face not just one's image, but the essence of divine order. Yet mirrors have always carried a shadow. In folklore across Europe, it was believed that mirrors could trap the soul. That is why, when someone died, families would cover all mirrors in the house, so the departing spirit would not become ensnared, wandering endlessly between worlds. To break a mirror, then, was not simply clumsy. It was a violent rupture of spiritual harmony, an omen of 7 years of discord. Hidden within all these traditions lies a deeper truth. The mirror has never been just about appearance. It has always been about revelation. From the Mayan priests who used black obsidian mirrors as gateways into other dimensions, to the occult magicians of the Renaissance who scryed within polished crystal, the mirror has stood as an instrument of self-discovery and spiritual awakening. It is the silent witness that reflects not only your form, but your essence, if you dare to look deeply enough. And yet, the greatest secret may be the one that hides in plain sight. Every time you look into a mirror, you are unconsciously engaging in an ancient ritual, one that binds you to the mysteries of consciousness itself. When you look into a mirror, the obvious thing you see is your reflection. But spiritually, the mirror does not only reflect the body, it reflects the state of your inner world. In esoteric traditions, your reflection is said to be a projection of your aura, the subtle field of energy that radiates from your being. This is why some days your face looks alive, radiant, and magnetic, while on others it seems heavy, drained, or even unfamiliar. The mirror, in this sense, becomes an energetic barometer of the soul. Mystics describe this moment of reflection as a dialogue between two selves, the outer self that the world sees and the inner self that hides beneath the surface. The eyes, often called the windows of the soul, appear differently when the inner self is in harmony versus when it is in conflict. Many practitioners of Hermetic philosophy believe that when you gaze steadily into your own eyes, you are not simply seeing yourself, you are summoning forth the deeper I, the silent witness that observes all of life. There's a reason why prolonged mirror gazing can feel unsettling. As the minutes pass, your features may seem to shift, distort, or even transform into something unrecognizable. This phenomenon has been documented in both psychology and mysticism. Modern science may call it a trick of the brain, but the esoteric view holds that what you are seeing is the mask of the ego dissolving, revealing glimpses of past lives, ancestral imprints, or even archetypal energies that live within you. Think of the mirror as a threshold. On one side is the physical reality, familiar and tangible. On the other side is the subtle realm of consciousness, timeless and vast. Every glance into the mirror is an invitation to cross that threshold. Most people do so unconsciously, never realizing the mirror is watching them as much as they are watching it. But for those who approach with awareness, the mirror becomes not a surface of glass, but a portal to spiritual self-reflection. The mirror is not only a threshold, it is a paradox. It shows you everything, yet it shows you nothing of substance. It is empty, yet it reflects fullness. This paradox is why mirrors have been both revered and feared across the ages. One of the greatest misconceptions is that the mirror is passive. Many assume it simply bounces back an image, but esoteric traditions teach that a mirror is active. It interacts with your energy. When you look into it, your thoughts, emotions, and subtle vibrations are not only reflected but amplified. This is why the mirror has often been used in magical practices. It becomes a stage where intention can be magnified and projected into reality. In occult teachings, the mirror is sometimes called the eye of the soul. Prolonged mirror gazing, also known as the psychomantium, has been used by mystics to communicate with spirits, confront shadow aspects of the self, and pierce the veil between worlds. What most people dismiss as hallucination, the face shifting, other figures appearing in the background, or even the sensation of being watched, is in these traditions understood as glimpses into the astral plane. Yet not all traditions agree on the mirror's benevolence. Some folk beliefs warn that mirrors are traps, that they can capture fragments of the soul and hold them hostage. This is why in many cultures, a mirror facing the bed is considered dangerous. It is said that while you sleep, your spirit may wander, and upon returning become confused or fragmented when encountering its reflection. So we arrive at a strange duality, the mirror as teacher and the mirror as trickster. It can be a tool for awakening, helping you to recognize your true essence, or it can ensnare you in illusions, magnifying your vanity, your fears, your shadows. Which role it plays depends entirely on how you approach it, with reverence or with carelessness. And this brings us to the deeper truth that has been whispered across ages. The mirror does not lie, but it does not tell the whole truth either. It reveals the surface of your essence, but the rest must be uncovered through inner work, presence, and conscious self-reflection. If the mirror is both a threshold and a teacher, how can you approach it consciously, so it becomes a spiritual ally rather than a source of illusion? The answer lies in transforming the daily act of looking at your reflection into a sacred ritual of awareness. The first practice is simple, yet profound. Mirror gazing with presence. Sit quietly before a mirror in dim light. Relax your breath and look directly into your own eyes. Do not analyze, do not judge, simply witness. After several minutes, you may notice subtle shifts, your face softening, other expressions flickering, even unfamiliar forms appearing. Do not fear these changes. They are reflections of deeper layers of your psyche surfacing, fragments of shadow, echoes of memory, or glimpses of your higher self. This practice, done for even 5 minutes a day, begins to dissolve the illusion of separation between who you think you are and who you truly are. The second practice is intention setting through reflection. Every morning before beginning your day, stand before the mirror and speak a clear intention aloud. Look directly into your eyes as you do so, because the mirror amplifies energy. If you say, "Today I walk in clarity and peace," it is not merely a statement. It becomes an energetic command, reflected back into your field and impressed upon your subconscious. Over time, this daily ritual programs your energy with focus and coherence. Another powerful method, drawn from both occultism and modern psychology, is shadow dialogue. When faced with recurring fears, doubts, or self-sabotaging thoughts, speak them into the mirror. Allow yourself to confront these parts without denial. Then, in the same gaze, affirm their transformation. I release this fear. I embrace my strength. By doing so, you integrate what was hidden in the unconscious. The mirror acts as a witness to your declaration, making it real and embodied. Finally, an advanced practice, the midnight mirror ritual. Performed only by those ready for deep inner work, this involves gazing into a mirror at night with only a single candle as illumination. It is said that in this state, the veil between the conscious mind and the spiritual realms is thinnest. Many report visions, ancestral contact, or profound revelations about their soul's path. Yet caution must be exercised. The mirror reveals not only the light, but the shadows within. This is why such a practice must be approached with grounding, clarity, and respect. Through these techniques, the mirror ceases to be a mundane household object. It becomes a sacred portal, a daily reminder that spirituality is not found only in temples, books, or distant realms, but in the most ordinary acts of living, if you dare to look deeply. The next time you stand before a mirror, remember, you are not simply adjusting your appearance. You are gazing into one of humanity's oldest portals, an ancient ally and at times a dangerous trickster. Every reflection is more than skin and bone. It is a dialogue between body and spirit, between the conscious persona and the silent witness within. The Egyptians buried mirrors to guide the soul into eternity. The Mayans carved them from obsidian to peer into other dimensions. The mystics of East and West alike understood that mirrors hold the power to reveal and to conceal. We've uncovered how mirrors reflect not only your face, but your aura, your emotions, and even fragments of your unconscious. We've seen how they can amplify intentions, confront shadows, and serve as gateways for deeper spiritual exploration. We've touched on daily practices that transform the mundane act of reflection into a sacred ritual of awakening. But here lies the most shocking secret of all, one rarely spoken outside esoteric circles. The mirror remembers. In certain occult traditions, it is believed that every time you look into a mirror, a trace of your energy, your essence, is imprinted upon it. Over years, even decades, your mirror becomes a silent archive of every emotion, every thought, every state you've projected before it. This is why some practitioners warn against keeping old mirrors, or antique ones whose histories you do not know, for they may hold the energy of those who gazed into them long before you. And here is the forbidden practice. Some initiates of the mystery schools were taught to summon their future self through the mirror. By entering a trance, gazing into the eyes of their reflection, and calling forth the double, they claimed to receive visions, guidance, and even direct counsel from the version of themselves that had already walked the path ahead. To succeed required immense focus and purity of intent. Yet for those who dared, the mirror became a bridge across time itself. So now the question is yours to carry. When you next look into a mirror, will you see only your appearance, fleeting and fragile, or will you dare to see the timeless essence that gazes back? The you beyond the mask, the you beyond this moment. If these insights stirred something within you, let your voice join the conversation. Share your thoughts below. Have you ever experienced something strange when looking in the mirror? And if you seek to explore more hidden wisdom and ancient practices, stay with this channel, because together we are remembering truths the world has long forgotten